Live on Facebook and YouTube.
All right. Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, YouTube. Instagram, waiting on you.
It's a late live tonight.
It is. We're going live in the community too at 8. So get my pen ready here.
And live on Instagram.
All right. So we are ready to rock and roll. We'll let people load in. If you guys are listening on the podcast, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about some culture red flags, some indicators that you either have a culture that needs to get fixed or you might have some toxic stylist in there, possibly. And you are not showing up as the right leader for them, or you don't have the right systems in place. So as I'm setting everything up here on the old iPad, just think to yourself right now, like, are you ever in a frame of mind where you dread going to work? Because we're going to hop right into it. That is a cultural red flag. Not like you're tired or you're burnt out, but like you just don't want to go to work or walk in your own salon because of one of your team members. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of stylists, a lot of owners who still do hair feel that way. And it's just if you feel that way, like, could you imagine what your team feels like? Could you imagine what it's like if you're the owner of your own salon and you dread going to your own place of business because of one or two of your employees or three or more of your employees? And if that is your situation, that is a cultural red flag. 100%. There's going to be days you don't want to go to work, but if it's because of the people or the environment, you have to fix that. So I mean, oh my God, I talked to so many owners and they actually hate their salon. And only one or two of my clients that I've worked with, that I've done this with, or I had to do this with, was I'm like, you have to clear house. Like you have to fire literally everybody. And I've never ever said that before because obviously there's going to be two problems in a salon. You hear me say it all the time: people or process. And to be honest, they didn't really have a process, but the people weren't even aligned with their core values, their culture, or any of that. And so the best bet was for them just to start from scratch. And, this is something that I'm going to be implementing in my own location. So if my team's watching, get ready. I'm not going to fire anyone, but I am going to be doing a complete culture realignment strategy. And so I want to put my finger on the pulse of my salon and maybe see if I have to either switch people out, send them to a friend salon, let them know, hey, we're probably not a good fit. But that's red flag number one. If you dread going to work in your own salon, red flag number two, your team members or a particular team member is always quick to dip. Like they're just looking to get out of the salon as quick as they can. They come in last minute and they leave as soon as they're done. Like they don't want to help anybody out. They're just like have minimal time invested at that physical location. And typically that is a sign that that team member is not aligned with your culture or your culture itself isn't an enjoyable environment. So it's either because they don't like anyone there in a salon because everyone's a bitch and everyone's annoying and everyone is like at each other's throat, or that person just doesn't align with your culture anymore and they're going to leave your salon, they're opening a suite, they're leaving soon. That's usually an indicator of that. Now, number three, they have a self-serving mindset. Like they feel like they deserve special treatment and they feel like they deserve special resources for working at that location. And typically, they're not doing anything to trade off for that increase in money, commission, revenue. And they're always blaming things for their lack of success, or they're blaming other people for the problems that are in the salon. When in reality, it might be their issue. Like it might be their fault that things are happening. So, anyone with a self serving mindset, that's number three. Deteriorating teamwork. Like their teamwork is just not there anymore. Like at one point when you hire them, they were always looking to help out. They were always willing to stay a little later. When that starts leaving and they don't have that team mentality, it's like us together as a unit in a salon working together for that common purpose. When that starts going, then that's another indicator that you may have a bad culture in your salon or that team member may be affecting the culture or they're not a good fit. And then you have a high turnover rate. That's number five. You bring on people on your team and then they leave right away. Like it's hard for you to maintain like stylists on your team. You bring on a new team member, they seem like a rock star, all of a sudden they just leave. Typically, that is a sign that you have a bad culture. Now, the beauty of it is you can fix it because it's your salon, because you're the owner. If you're working somewhere and you notice this stuff, I think it's time for you to have a conversation with the owner, especially if you love working there. Sometimes leadership isn't necessarily, well, it is the owner's responsibility, but sometimes leadership is something you could take advantage of as a stylist in a salon. And you could take the reins and you could make sure that everyone is starting to align with the culture, especially if you feel like your owner is either burnt out, they maybe even checked out. Sometimes you have to speak to your owner and let them know, hey, what's going on? Even though that's their responsibility to be the leader of the team, if you truly love working there, it's close to your house, let's say, your clients love it, you're tired of looking at other locations to work at, you don't want to go to a suite, because you are a team, maybe your owner needs somebody to talk to. Maybe they might just need you to pull them aside and kind of like wake them up and give them a reality check about what's going on. So it truly is a team environment, and truly is important for each person on that team to help out when someone's not pulling their weight because they're going through something. And so as an owner, this is the most difficult part. It really can't be you. Sometimes it is. And sometimes you have your days when it's like, I just can't do it anymore. Right? Everyone goes through these ups and downs. But when it's truly on affecting your culture in your salon, you have to step in because you chose to be responsible for each one of those team members' careers. And it's up to you to make sure you pull the weight. And it's up to you as an owner to make sure you control that culture. You're in charge of that. So if there is somebody on that team who's affecting it and they're making you dread walking into work, every other person's going to dread walking into work. They don't help out with anybody. And you observe this and you don't say anything. If they're self-serving and you don't have that crucial conversation to let them know where they are falling short and how they can enhance their performance, that's on you. If they keep on leaving early, it's up to you to ask them what's going on. And so this is the hardest part about ownership, is having these hard conversations. So when you are not the true leader your team needs you to be and your salon needs you to be, that's when your culture that's when your culture will just fall apart. So I hope those 5 indicators gave you a little more insight on maybe, something to look out for in your salon. Maybe you see it, but you're ignoring it. That's not a good thing either. So those 5 indicators are going to definitely help you evaluate the situation and then help you like make some changes that need to get made. And usually the changes that need to get made are on the other side of that difficult conversation you're avoiding. So just by having that conversation, sometimes that could fix the problem. So we're going to open up the live to some Q&A, guys. So if you have any questions about your culture or ideas, you want to run by me about how you could talk to an owner, I'll be more than willing to offer any advice that I can. James?
Westwood, is it a good idea to help a salon owner from a salon you work at to help purchase a second salon, but the second one as co-owners?
So you're looking to invest with your owner right now, is what I'm gathering, right, James, from that conversation?
That's what it sounds like.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. Is the salon ran exactly the way you want it? Does it align with your core values? Does it align with your mission? Do you guys get along really well? I'm not a big fan of partnerships, really. I have 2 of my salons, 3 of my salons right now. I am partners with them. They're amazing. I've had a failed partnership before, and I have partnerships that work great. I have salons I own by myself. It's just like you have to make sure you guys really communicate well, and you have to have the same vision. The only time the partnership will completely just crumble is if you guys truly aren't on the same page and you guys don't have any communication. So it's important that you just communicate with that person. But if they need your money to open the second location to try and save the first location, do not do it. 100% don't do it. But if that location is doing very well and they have a proven system and they have everything in place where that salon can run without them, and you're really oversubscribed right now, then go ahead, rock out, do it. Just make sure you have a really good contract, really good contingency clauses in there where you can take full ownership at one day or actually like open up another salon down the road. But if you can really align with the current owner, you guys can open up 4 or 5 more with the right system. So yeah, it just make sure that it's for the right reasons. That's all. It's not because they need your money. James,
Hold on.
Yeah.
What are some non-negotiables for a positive team environment in a salon?
some non-negotiables. No gossip. Gossip is a non-negotiable. You cannot gossip in the back room. If that person's not sitting right next to you, don't say anything about that person. Because if you do, that's gossip. Like if you wouldn't say it with that person there, don't say it either. So gossip's a non-negotiable. Being late's a non-negotiable. I feel like not respecting the workplace at all. Stealing's non-negotiable. What else was the question, James? About culture?
Some non-negotiables for a positive team environment.
Yeah.
In the salon.
I would say, teamwork. Like if you see somebody who needs help, help them. Hey, if you're doing nothing and you're sitting in the break room, what are you doing back there? Be out on the floor. Hey, who needs help taking a client down? I can help you apply color. There's a lot of things that you should be doing to make sure that the salon's energy is positive. So negative self-talk, negative talk in general, that goes along with gossip. A really good book, honestly, to get and live by in your salon culture is called The 4 Agreements. It's a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. And the 4 agreements are be impeccable with your word, means speak without sin. And impeccable when it breaks down, the way they break it down in the book means you don't gossip, right? You don't say, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, or she's so fat, she's so stupid. Gossip about yourself, negative self-talk, or self-talk about another person in the salon. No, can't do it. That's the first agreement. Second agreement is don't take anything personal. Like like if me and you work together and your client was, you did her hair 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden she's in my chair this week. You can't take that personal. Maybe she tried to book with you and you were booked. Right? I can't take it personal. I can't take anything personal. There's nothing personal in this industry. And that leads me to agreement number 3. Don't make assumptions. And when you don't make assumptions, it's really easy not to take it personal because when you make assumptions, you assume that I stole that client. Now you're taking it personal. So just ask, hey, Maria was in your book today. Like, how did she wind up in there? Very casual and like really interested, like truly, like you're curious. Oh, she was in your book originally. She had to move her time. You couldn't take her at 12 because Barbara was in there, so she just wanted me to blow her out. Oh, cool. And you're just honestly, you're asking for a place of curiosity. Don't assume. And then number 4 is always do your best. And so that's non-negotiable. No matter what the day has in store for you, no matter what happened before you walked in the salon, no matter how you feel going into that day, whether you want to be there or not, that's gonna make your best vary. But as long as you give today your very best, that's all you can ask for. And so as long as your team gives it their best every day, and that best, like I said, will change from day to day. You follow those 4 agreements, your salon will run very, very smooth. And then obviously the other thing with doing your best is leave everything outside the salon. Like imagine there's a hook in your salon or a hook outside the front door of your salon. And before you walk in the salon door, you hang up your issues on that hook. Everybody, when you walk out of that salon door, has all their issues hung up. Whose issues do you think you want to take? More than likely yours. You're going to want to take them back because you don't know what that person's dealing with. You don't know what that person's dealing with. You don't know what their problems are going to be bringing to you if you want to take their problems. So everybody has problems. Just leave it outside the salon. And I promise you, when you get back out there, they're still going to be there. And so will everybody else's. And that will make your salon environment so much better. James, next question.
Yeah, 1 second. Let's see.
Guys, this is called the culture realignment strategy too. It's one of the master classes in my program. It's also part of this how to build your dream team, how to find and build your dream team. And so this is one of the modules in there. It's called the culture realignment strategy. It's so important.
Westwood, what is the professional way to ask a coworker or salon manager for help during a men's haircut service without making the client in the chair nervous?
Oh, love this one. All right, so this is what I want you to do. If you're a barber or you're not a barber, whatever you do, have like a code word in your salon. So if you are a new stylist and you run into issues here and there, have one of your senior barber, senior stylist on the floor know the code word. Let's say it's green comb. You could be like, you could look through your drawer and be like, oh, I think Mike borrowed my green comb. Let me go ask him, hey, Mike, do you have my green comb? Then Mike knows, oh, you're jammed up right now. Either I'm going to go over there and be like, no, I got rid of it or whatever happened, but you could try this comb too. What are you doing? What kind of haircut? And then he could help you with it. Or, yeah, I have it in the back. Come with me. I'll grab it for you. It's in my locker. And so you guys can both walk in the back. No one's has any idea what's going on. They think you're looking for a green comb, and you can ask him the question or her the question, and they could kind of walk you through that haircut. That way, nobody has any idea what's going on. Let's go. Next question.
We got
For stylists out there, the Next Level Stylist part of the program is live right now. So if you are interested in, I mostly talk to owners. That's the Level Up Academy. That's that program. And all of the Level Up Academy community members, their team gets access to that Next Level Stylist. So that's a nice little bonus for them. But if you are a commission stylist or you're a renter and you just want some like mentorship or coaching or help or guidance, shoot me a DM. DM me Next Level and I'll get you information on that. Super, super approachable. Not really expensive at all, but it's just here to help you. James, next question.
Yeah, we have. How do I align, or excuse me, how do I balance being both a supportive leader and holding high standards?
Change your mindset about what that means to you. Being a supportive leader and holding high standards is the same thing once you change the way you look at it. I'm here to be a good leader and help elevate their career. If I keep a lower standard for them, what good does that do to them? It does no good for them. So when I increase the standards, it's making them better stylists, better team members, better people. And so indirectly, you have to change the way you look at holding a high standard. It's a benefit for people. You yourself has to hold that high standard as well. But it's going to be the same thing. You are an amazing leader by holding a high standard for them. It's not like a stupid standard. Like the standard has to be connected to something that makes them a better individual and a better artist behind the chair. And so if you have that common denominator, like all the standards I set in my salon are just going to make you better. So don't separate the two in the way you look at them. You can be an amazing leader by holding people to a standard. In fact, they're going to thank you for it. Like some of my hardest owners, in fact, no, in boot camp, for instance, like our hardest DIs were the ones we loved the most because they made us better versions of ourselves. And so if someone doesn't respect you for helping them keep their standards, they might not be a good fit for your team. And you have to let them know. Like you have to, as an owner, truly know what their goals are, what their vision is. You have to know everything about that person, what moves them, where they want to be in 5 years, where they want to be in 10 years. You have to truly understand where that person's going and where they want to go with their career, in their personal life and their career. And then you want to show them how having these standards will help them achieve all that. And you're here to help them make sure that like they're really keeping that standard. That's a hard one for me too, right? Because you want to be a good leader and you want to, like, people think being a good leader is being a pushover sometimes and not being like that dick boss you used to have. But in reality, if you didn't have that dick boss, you wouldn't be in the position you're in right now as an owner because they made you raise your standards. And now you have a full book and you own a salon. James, next question.
yeah.
If one is spotted a salon or a barbershop with a lot of potential because of the area, how does one ask if the owners if they'd be interested to sell their business?
Just ask them. Like, don't even get tricky about it. Hey, how long have you been on a salon for? I'd love to take out the coffee. Email them, call them, get a haircut by them. But honestly, just ask them. Hey, how long you own the salon for? I'm interested in purchasing a salon. I don't know if yours is for sale or not. Everything is for sale. But yeah, just honestly ask. It's not going to make it any easier if you come up with like a cool, funky way of asking. Just ask. But rehearse it, right? Make sure you know the person. Make sure you have some background information on what the lease is and Like you could do a little bit of homework before you just blatantly ask them. But if you're really like serious about buying the salon or buying the barbershop, yeah, just hey, I'm interested in your shop. I think it's amazing. I think you did a great thing here. All right, 2 more questions.
What are the best rhythms for team meetings or one-on-ones to reinforce culture?
Fucking great question. So the best rhythm for team meetings and one-on-one is this. I like to have a monthly check-in with my team once a month. First Friday of every month is what I do, but depending on the location. First, second, third, fourth, and then at different times. But the first Friday of every month, we do a team meeting. Then one-on-ones, instead of every month, I think that's a little too much. And every quarter's it's too far away. Every 60 days. So every 2 months is when you do your one-on-ones. So once a month team meeting, every other month you do your one-on-ones with that person. And that's how you check in with them. That's your team, right? That's your salon team. Now, if you have a bigger salon, that might be a manager's role. So then I have something I like to teach called the at agenda. And the at agenda or a weekly sync. The first Tuesday of every week, I meet with one of my owners. The first Thursday of every Tuesday of every week, I meet with an owner. Then Thursday, I meet with another one, and then every single week, I have my touch points with my managers or my owners, and that's who I talk to every single week. That's weekly. We share a Google Doc or a note in our phone, and then both of us can add stuff to it or take stuff away and add notes to it, so I'm not bothering them at 3:00 in the morning when I have crazy ideas. And that's how I do my weekly syncs. So that's like your direct point of contact in the salon. So it could be a lead stylist, it could be your lead educator, it could be your salon manager, it could be your front desk coordinator, it could be your marketing team. So that's what you do once a week. But your regular salon staff, like your soldiers that are in there, that's once a month for a team, and then every 60 days for your one-on-ones. And then second or last question.
Say yes to nails. As a salon owner, how can I keep the employees' respect as a leader? I am a nice person and people tend to take me as a pushover because I am selective with how and what I choose to correct.
Stop doing that. Just set the standard, and the standard is the standard. That's how we do things here. That's it. You just want to make sure that there's a floor that you don't go below. And that's all. A lot of like you can't pick and choose because then you're wishy-washy. So why do you pick and choose? Are you afraid to have the hard conversation? Because right before I jumped to the Q&A, everything you want in your salon and the way you want it ran is on the other side of a hard conversation. And guess what? Half of it's made up in your head. So you make up these scenarios when you're driving to salon. Like, I'm going to talk to Jen and I'm going to have a conversation with her and I'm going to say this. And you have this, you think she's going to say that to me. She's going to rebuttal this. And you make this fucking weird argument in your head, this back and forth. And you get to salon, you're like, hey, Jen, I noticed you came in late the last couple of times. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. You know, I have my babysitter's running late. It won't happen again. And the conversation's over. But you make up this crazy like concoction of a conversation in your head when it didn't even need to be there. So then what you do is you avoid that conversation and you let it go on for 4, 5, 6 months. And then the person changed their habits. They lower their standards because you didn't help them meet it at a certain level. And then all of a sudden now they're taken back because, hey, you let me do this for the last 6 months. Now it's an issue. So that's why it's important that you just can't let things go. You have to hold the standard. There's no favoritism in the salon. I don't care if you bring in $10,000 a week. There's no favoritism. The standard is the standard. That's it. And you got to hold people to that standard. And that's how you are able to really run a salon that doesn't need you because your standards are being met. So they don't need your presence, your physical presence, right? And I'll do one more question. That was a good one. If it's in the chat.
She said, great point. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you need help with leadership, DM me the word leader. Actually, don't. It would trigger an automation, but you'll get a cool little automation. Just DM me, like, hey, Nick, I want help leading my salon and really want to grow the team.
What's a healthy way to give feedback when someone is acting off culture?
All right, this is great. All right, so if you have someone acting off culture, what I like to do is I have something I taught called the leadership feedback loop. I'll give you a quick little breakdown. It's a series of questions that I give to that team member to give me criticism on my leadership. Then what it does is it enables me to have the floor to give them feedback on what's going on with them. Second way I like to do it is give them an evaluation sheet that they fill out about themselves, how they're showing up. Are they giving 100%? So those are my 2 ways of doing it. Also, it goes back to your position agreements and your culture contract and how you hire them. So when you hire people, you should hire them and onboard them with a set of core values that they agree to. You hire them with a position agreement so they understand what's they're responsible for. They sign off on it. You also share with them your position agreement as the owner and how you're going to show up and deliver an amazing salon and how you're going to show up as an owner. And that way, you ask them to help hold me accountable to this. So if at any given time you see me not following through or falling short at any of these obligations I have as your owner, please let me know. And then the same for you, right? We both agree that this is how we got to show up for each other, and then hold them accountable. But if it's already gone a little bit array, the leadership feedback loop is amazing. Give them a series of 12 questions. I have them. I'll even give them to you. Just DM me 12 questions. I'll send it over to you. And then the other one is the evaluation for themselves. Like they just check in with themselves. And you'd be surprised how many people blast themselves so you don't even have to. Like literally lay into themselves. How have you been showing up on social media the right way? And they're like, I haven't. I'm falling short on that. Did you give it 100% in the salon this last quarter or this last month? No, I really didn't. Well, that gives you a chance now to be like, hey, well, what's up? Why not? What's going on in your life? As a leader, if you care more about the person than you do about the numbers will get to where they need to be. But if you only care about the numbers, then that's when you lose people. So as an owner, care more about the person than the numbers, and the numbers will take care of themselves. That's a goddamn real, James. All right, guys. So that is our live. I think if you're part of the Level Up Academy, we have an hour and 20 minutes, and we're kicking off with our evening or Thursday evening Q&A. So if you are part of that program, let me know. We're going to jump into a Q&A live in the community. So if you're not, DM me. I'll give you some information on it. If you're watching YouTube, make sure you click subscribe. If you're watching Instagram, you already follow me because you got the notification for my live. You guys are amazing. And I will see everybody tomorrow for tomorrow's live. James, we're out.